Hey there, everybody. Happy Monday. Start of the work week. All right. How was your weekend? Hopefully it was good. Welcome to Crypto Coin Mindset. I'm Keith. And as always, I'm here to help you get your mindset on crypto. All right. Got some stuff to talk about today, let me tell you. And yeah, it's important. It's important that we need to make sure we get this information out there about CBDCs. That's going to be the primary topic of today is what CBDCs live streams, love them. What CBDCs are. And I know we touched on this last Wednesday with Crypto Jar when he was here. He won't be joining us today, but he said he'll be joining us on Wednesday. So shout out to Crypto Jar. Hope your week is going well. He's got some other things and obligations to take care of. So we look forward to having him here on Wednesday. But last Wednesday, he was here and we talked a little bit about CBDCs in regard to some of the legislation that was moving through Congress with regard to CBDCs. And we'll touch on that a little bit later on toward the end of this live stream. But right now, the focus of this live stream is going to be on a recent poll. And that recent poll shows that support for a CBDC here in the United States is only 16%. That's the good news about the poll. There's some bad news about the poll, quite frankly, which is why I wanted to make sure we did a little bit of education today, because I'm sorry, there are a lot of people, as you'll see in a minute when we look at that poll, that are just like, whatever. No, not whatever. I don't care if you're into CBDCs. I don't care if you're into cryptocurrency or not. I really don't. It doesn't matter. I mean, to me, I see that society is moving cashless regardless. And we're going to talk about that too. In particular, in Australia, there was a post that was put out on Twitter that I want to highlight and actually talk about that a little bit. But that's something I've written about on my blog. Again, make sure you head over to the blog, CryptoCoinMindSet.com. Really appreciate that. And check out all of the great information there. I'm currently running through a series right now of articles talking primarily about cryptocurrency wallets and exactly what they are, how to use them, what a seed phrase is, private keys, everything you could possibly need to know about cryptocurrency wallets. I'm doing it. I'm putting it in there. The latest post was on Thursday about paper wallets, what they are. And, I kind of expected that. I know I'm kind of going off topic here a little bit, but why not? I actually expected that post to be a bit shorter. Most of my posts are probably good 5,000 words. When I write, I want to be able to give you every piece of information, which is why, though we don't always talk about it here, we don't always discuss everything here in great detail, I do always forward you back to the blog, CryptoCoinMindSet.com. And there's a reason for that, because I'm really in depth about what I'm writing there on purpose to try and give you all that information as you need it. So head on over there, check that out. Anyway, the blog post about paper wallets. Now, I mean, if you have any inkling, a paper wallet is what? It's a piece of paper, right? You'd think that would be a kind of short, a short article. Yeah, not so much. Not so much. One of the longer articles I've written. If all goes well, this Thursday, you'll see a complete breakdown and description of desktop wallets. So watch for that when you head on over there. And again, don't forget we're live Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m., Friday, 7 p.m. for Crypto on the Rocks. Today, we're only streaming on YouTube and Twitter because I'm having some technical difficulties logging into Facebook for whatever reason to go live. Not sure why that is, but there's been a lot of that interference lately. So sorry about that for anybody who normally watches. And I know I have a few people who normally watch on Facebook, so I apologize for that. But can only do what I can do here at this point. So hopefully, if you saw that I'm going live, you're jumping on over to YouTube. Speaking of which, if you are new to this channel, Make sure that you like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Hit that bell icon to click the all. That way you get notified every time we put out a great video or go live. Really appreciate that. And if you're here in the, I see there's still people joining in right now on the live stream, and that's why I'm kind of just going over things before we actually get into the meat of the matter here. Make sure you jump in the live chat, put in whatever questions you have, comments, etc., and I will get to those as we move through this live stream. All right, all that crap's out the way. Now, like I said, the primary focus today is going to be on a recent poll that came out. So I know people have mixed feelings about what's on Twitter, but I originally saw this on Twitter and went over to actually read the article and the results of the poll that they posted. And links for all of this is in the description of the live stream. So go ahead and check that out. And I appreciate the title here. Only 16% of Americans support the government issuing a central bank digital currency, a CBDC. And I am glad to see that. But as you're going to see as we go further down and look at this poll, there are way too many people, in my opinion, who are undecided as to like whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. And I get it. There are definitely potential positives to a CBDC for some people functioning within a society. To me, and again, links to all of this in the description below. So head on over to CryptoCoinMindSet, and where I break down exactly what a CBDC is, and I explain and contrast it with cryptocurrency. And again, I see that we're going to move to a cashless society. I really do believe that. But what type of cashless society matters? It really does. Remember that a CBDC, so without going through my article about a CBDC, what they are, let's talk about it here. So a CBDC is a digital currency issued by a central bank. So in the case of the United States, that would be the Fed. So the Fed, who honestly is already using CBDCs, we'll talk about that in a second, is the one who would set it up, program the CBDC, because much like cryptocurrency, it's similar in the sense that it runs on its own ledger. So whether that distributed ledger technology is an actual blockchain or something else, that is about where, and the programmability, I guess, is about where the similarity between CBDCs and cryptocurrency end. A CBDC is going to be a closed system, unlike cryptocurrency, which, again, done correctly, is a distributed ledger. So it is decentralized by nature, not controlled by any one entity. So that's the opposite of what you're going to get with a CBDC. Again, programmed by the Fed, and we're going to talk United States here. I know I sometimes have some people tuning in from England and Europe and so on, but your governments are also doing the same thing. I don't want to say every. The majority of governments around the world are in the process of at least exploring the possibility of putting out CBDCs. And this is something that, the multi-lettered NGOs, non-government organizations like the WEF, the IMF, etc., want to happen. They don't want countries to adopt Bitcoin, for example, like El Salvador did, making El Salvador legal tender right alongside the US dollar. And again, look what happened for El Salvador. Their bonds are up over 70%. They are doing extremely well. Their economy is doing extremely well as they take their thumb and stick it in the eye of the IMF, who threatened them and tried to coerce them into not doing what they did. I'm getting off track. The idea is these government agencies and governments across the world, I mean, look at China, already exists. Their CBDC already exists. It is connected to a social credit score. We see the videos coming out as they leak out of China because, China does its best to keep things from the outside the country away and things inside the country within, as far as the internet is concerned. And they've been relatively successful with that. But if you search, you can find things out that are going on within the country. In particular, they've tied their CBDC to a social credit score. So if you don't have the right attitude about the government, if you don't have positive online status, if you don't do what is expected of you, you jaywalk even, guess what? That all chips away at your score, and you get less and less opportunity to do things like buy food. A CBDC, doesn't matter who issues it, is completely programmable. So, and quite frankly, seems, in my opinion, again, my opinion, not financial advice, the old guy on the internet, right? But a CBDC, in my opinion, is the complete antithesis of something that should be a currency within the United States. It's just the complete opposite. Because with that CBDC, they can control everything about it, program it in any way they want. And initially, they'll be like, oh, no, we would never do that, blah, 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 blah. Well, you want to know what? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So them saying that is bullshit. Let's just put it where it is. That's bullshit. We can see that today with them government colluding with the mainstream media. The what comes out in the mainstream media is a narrative. They all say the same thing. You've seen the videos where they're literally all reading from a script. Why do you think that is? And we've recently seen, after Elon Musk, whether you like him or don't like him, that doesn't even matter. The fact of the matter is that you got Elon Musk over here who bought Twitter, and in so doing, then released documents proving collusion between Twitter, in that case, and the government, various levels, both sides of the aisle, it doesn't even matter, asking for people to be censored, silenced, whatever, in their political opinions, in their whatever opinions. It doesn't even matter the what. If someone in the government doesn't appreciate what you're saying, they're calling on agencies, they're calling on the social media platforms to basically censor you. That's why you see this massive move out of things like YouTube, because honestly, things like this get shadow banned. I've told you before, cryptocurrency, they don't want a lot of it out there. And if you're talking like we're talking right now here on this live stream, eventually, I told you, I've Googled up on this, cleared all my caches and used the VPN, et cetera, to go ahead and just Google up my channel. You can't find it. It rarely comes up. And that's literally even typing in the exact name of the channel. You get anything but my channel. So again, more reason why I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified after you hit the bell icon every time I go live. I really appreciate the support. And it also helps me to grow this channel. So I'm shooting to get over 1,000 subscribers right now. So I really appreciate that. And you know what? It becomes more and more difficult for a platform like YouTube to begin to push me aside. Anyway, thank you very much for that in advance. So again, realize that the government will eventually program the CBDC to, again, something like this. They'll be like, we don't like what he's saying. So what are we going to do? Well, I think we're going to go and no CBDCs for you today. Or, you know what? They can program the CBDC like, oh, well, you can't spend it here. So, you know, they want to promote their green agenda. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You won't be able to go and get enough gas to put in your car. So you better get an electric vehicle. Or perhaps, you know what? We don't want you eating meat. Time for eating bugs. So, you know, you can't use your CBDCs to buy meat. Whatever it is. I know these sound like extreme examples, but let's be honest. We've seen crazier things, have we not? Just in these last couple of years. Of course we have. Of course we have. So where's the stretch? Where's the stretch in thinking that a government, and it pains me to say our government here in the United States, would take these tactics, these angles to control people. If a CBDC is put out to the American public, this is what we're going to see. Need a coffee break, guys. Hang on 1 second. Thanks. But now don't misunderstand me. I think there are some potential positives to CBDCs. And one of those potential positives is, okay, well, if you are, for whatever reason, on some kind of government assistance, which is a whole nother thing, but I'm talking like Social Security, perhaps, Social Security disability, those kind of things. It's easy and quick, bam, to get the money there. You know, they tout the idea of, you know, during the next pandemic, because they're already planning the next pandemic. Anyway, here goes. I'm going to get strikes on this. Anyway, they can, when that happens, they'll be able to, you know how they send stimulus out, they have to print checks and this, that, and the other thing, etc. Well, guess what? They won't have to do that anymore, right? Because they'll be using a central bank digital currency. It's going to be a click of a button and bam, there it is. There it is. But again, remember, they're not going to incentivize you to take that money like a lot of people did with that other money and hold on to it, store it. A lot of people spent it to stimulate the economy, and they you know, force the price, inadvertently forcing the price of stuff like lumber and so on way through the roof because people were stuck at home, right? So here they're going to actually be able to do that by programming a CBDC. So you won't be able to save the money, or if you are allowed to save any of the money, it will be for a period of time. And if you don't use that money for whatever it is they're looking to do to stimulate the economy, etc., they'll just take it back. Why? Because they can. Because they can. All right. I know I'm kind of going around and about here. Hey, we got Crypto Jar on the chat. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Glad to see you here. Didn't expect to hear from you, so glad you're here. Glad you're here. Oh, here we go. CBDCs are a bit scary. Way too much control on the gray. I think that's supposed to be, government side. Sorry. With little input during the creation. Yeah. There it is. Right there. Spelled right out by Crypto Jar, who was great in that last live stream. Again, the link to that live stream from last Wednesday, where we did talk about CBDCs and the legislation going through Congress, is in the description of this video below. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. And you know, I appreciate Crypto Jar's input because you know, he's in Canada. I mean, you know, I get that, you know, Canada is often affected by a lot of the decisions excuse me, that happen in the United States, especially when it comes to, you know, decisions in this space, cryptocurrency, etc. So I appreciate his viewpoint with regard to the CBDCs here. So thank you, Crypto Jar, for jumping in and putting that in here. Appreciate that. And for those of you who don't follow Crypto Jar, link to his channel is in the description below. If you're looking for passive income opportunities, and he breaks it down, he puts together entire guides. He is so good. I love his videos. He is so good at putting it together to help make mining simple, and the different cryptocurrencies that he mines, etc. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Again, link to his channel in the description below. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. I really appreciate you showing some support for him. All right. So we've kind of talked about what a CBDC is, how the government can program the CBDCs, and again, the positives, though I think those positives are extremely limited, all things being equal, and the negatives, which I think there are a whole lot more negative possibilities than positives when it comes to CBDCs. So, but let's pull this back up here and go through this poll that is going to be the crux of what we're talking about here. So, again, the title of this is accurate. It's only 16% of Americans support CBDCs, basically. And as you go through, it talks about CBDCs and about the Fed issuing CBDCs, and so on. Now, one other thing, I mentioned we were going to talk about that, so I suppose maybe I should do that now. So now I said the Fed's already using CBDCs. And how is that? We didn't hear nothing about that. They didn't give us any CBDCs. And you're right. You're 100% right. And if you ask the Fed if they're using CBDCs, they're going to be like, no, of course not. But they are. And here's what they're doing. Fed Now rolled out in July. And basically what they're calling Fed Now is their instant remittance services. So there's instantaneous settlements between the users of the Fed Now service. Well, guess what? The Fed Now service is basically a wholesale CBDC. It's CBDCs that are being used by this ledger that's being used by central banks, local and regional banks, well, whoever signed up for it, of course, and larger businesses, etc., to be able to access instant settlements in the Fed system. And again, we talked about this in another live stream, which I don't have in the description below, but after this live stream, I'll put it in there so you can go ahead and watch it. Basically, the Fed already has the rails, if you would, the means, everything in place to be able to, in the SWIFT system, to be able to function with moving money, in this case, at the speed of light, because instant settlements. Again, wholesale CBDC. So it's not a CBDC that is used by you and I. When those kind of CBDCs get rolled out, those are referred to as retail CBDCs. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that. And again, don't want to get that into the minutia here on this live stream. But realize that the retail CBDC is the one we were just discussing a minute ago. That's, again, well, they're both completely programmable. However, that's the one that will most adversely affect you and I. So let's head back to this poll real quick. And as you can see, Americans, for the most part, are skeptical, thank God, because, you know, the government should. If you remember, what did the Biden administration do? You know, the FJB administration, looking to go and check out your bank accounts down to any transactions over $600. But yet, you know, they can lose, the Pentagon can lose millions. The government can lose a fighter plane. Pick the litany of how the government is not accountable to itself, but they want you to be accountable to them. The idea, and this is where I've talked about many times, this whole CBDC thing is the antithesis of the United States government, or what the United States government should be. The government should be for the people, by the people. The people should be telling the politicians what to do. But then you got FJB, when he was running for president, basically looking at the auto worker, telling him, I don't work for you. Well, of course, that's what they think. They don't work for us because they take bribes left and right. And you saw that if you watched Crypto on the Rocks on Friday. I brought that up. The senator who was just charged with literally taking like almost a half a million dollars in bribes and gold and this and that. I mean, come on. The government has become very not what this government was meant to be. Not to get down that road. Back to CBDCs. So we talked about what they are, but what I want to point out is this pie chart right here. Okay. Let me see if I can just get it to get all the pieces in here a little bit. Oh, yep. See, come on, Keith. There we go. All right. So you can see the 16% that they talk about supporting CBDCs. And honestly, I don't get it. I don't even know where that 16% comes from. Because even if you are one of the people who are going to be the controller of the CBDC, eventually, I mean, I know Congress has a habit of exempting themselves from things. I mean, let's be honest, they do it all the time, right? Obamacare, exempt, even though that's not supposed to be the case. It's like, oh, sorry, I just saw your note there, Crypto Jar. Yeah, they can accidentally send billions overseas. Yeah, exactly. And when they want to do that, I mean, I don't care what side you fall on this whole Ukraine thing. At the end of the day, if you're a government, if your country is trillions of dollars in debt, which the United States debt all-time high, and it's just going. You're in debt. You shouldn't be sending money anywhere else. Sorry. I don't care what government you are. Don't care. Stop. There's my political commentary for the day. Yeah, but Jar's right. It's all about, what works for them, basically, right? So again, even if you are that 16% that they show here in this pie chart that actually supports this stupidity, eventually you're going to be subject to that stupidity. Unless, of course, you're so close to the programmability that you can program your own CBDCs to do stuff outside of what the rest of us can do. Why is that not possible? If it's programmed centrally and controlled centrally, of course that can happen. Common sense only says it can happen. I mean, think about it. It's like that comedy skit from George Carlin. I don't know if you ever saw it. The meme's been going around. It's a big club. The world is a big club, and you ain't in it. Well, neither am I, really. So guess what? We need to make our own club, which is why I am very pro CBDC. I am very pro cryptocurrency. Decentralized cryptocurrency allows you to opt out of the potential of the system. But again, that's a wrap it up at the end thing. So let's take a look. 34% oppose, like straight out oppose CBDCs. And we're seeing more about that in, like we talked about last Wednesday with Crypto Jar, of the legislation going through Congress as we speak. And at that time, it was in the House Financial Services Committee, basically against CBDCs. So either trying to regulate them to some degree, or, that there is legislation out there to just particularly no CBDCs here in the United States. I don't frankly see that making it through Congress, but hey, I've been wrong before. I'm always right some of the time, to quote Crypto Crow. Hang on a second here. All right. But as you can see, here's the part that frankly worries me the most. Right here. 49% didn't answer yay or nay, or they're unsure. Holy crap. Like, holy crap. And I get it. You know, for the most part, I mean, people, let's be honest, people are living their lives. They're just going through what they need to do to survive. It's just the way it is, right? So to be able to go and have to deep dive into the pros, the cons, the whatever, I get it. People don't have time or the energy to do it. And right here, Crypto Job, that 49% is a good reason to educate the public. Yes, that's why I wanted to do this live stream. Well, and thank you. You're doing a great job with that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't know. It needs to happen. It just needs to happen. People need to understand, you know, whether it's laziness or whether it's they just figure that, you know, the government has their best interest at heart. And if that's the case, you need to go read some history, because yeah, so much not the case. But regardless, you need to be able, you and I need to be able to take care of ourselves. We need to look out for ourselves. And why is that? The reason behind that is because guess what? Nobody's coming to save you. The government isn't coming to save you. And when things start to collapse, the government's going to do this and try and control you. We see it already. Again, I pointed out a couple of examples just earlier in the stream. It isn't going to get any better. It's I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not going to get any better. So that 49% of people, get why that number is so high. Again, people just trying to live their lives, to just kind of get through the day, make sure they got food on the table, a roof over their head, some clothes on their backs, make sure their kids are taken care of. I get it. I get it. But we need to make sure that they understand. And that's why I'm here. They need to understand the ramifications of doing nothing. The ramifications of not understanding what it is they're allowing the government to do. The ramifications of not having a backup plan to what could potentially be a nightmare, a dystopian nightmare. And again, you know, I get it. A lot of people are like, the government wouldn't do that. People would revolt, this, that, the other thing. I'd like to believe that. I truly would. And in fairness, there's a lot of that going on across the globe. You don't hear about it because it's a concerted effort by all of these governments to quell that information from getting out. Why? Because it would incite and wake up that 49% that we're showing right here in this chart to be like, okay, what the hell is going on? Our job is to try and do that. Or, okay, I say our job. I'm trying to enlist you to help me to do that. I see that as my job. Now, to me, again, the main way, and I think long term, the best way to do that, because again, we're moving to a cashless society, and we're going to touch on that again in 1 minute. But is through cryptocurrency. Now, I'm not saying every cryptocurrency, and I know there's people who are just all about the Bitcoin and so on and so forth. And I'm sorry if you check any of the information I have out there, whether it's my ebook or whether it's any of the articles I've written on my website, again, CryptoCoinMindSet.com, where I talk about a portfolio, how to invest, or anything along those lines. Bitcoin is like 50% of the portfolio, at least. And so I think Bitcoin is going to be that catalyst for adoption. There will be others, I think, that are. And as a matter of fact, while I have that on my mind, this Thursday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, I'm premiering an interview with a gentleman who is well versed in the P2E, the play to earn gaming space. And we had a great chat. We talked about what P2E is. So if you're not familiar with that, certainly we touch on that, but how that's actually moving into the cryptocurrency space and how that will also help for mass adoption. Because, there are a lot of us, especially those who might be tuning in from the United States, Canada, first world type of countries, Europe, whatever. We had England, like I said, on Friday. Some people kind of chiming in from Europe. So we don't feel it necessarily as much yet. However, you've got these other more third world type of countries and he was talking about the Philippines and so on and so forth, where, being able to play to earn and taking the cryptocurrency that you earn inside the game and then translating that into the real world, being able to purchase, as he talked about a gentleman he knew of that purchased a house with it, etc. That's amazing. That is the kind of stuff that will help to spawn more interest in cryptocurrency and also be able to help to bring them in and keep them here and develop an entire economy outside of this CBDC system. I know I kind of got into I kind of got into what I was going to talk about at the end, but it hit me right there to remind everybody that this Thursday, 9:45, Jason and I will both be in the live chat. So make sure you tune in for that premiere, and we'll be answering whatever questions you have at that time. Matter of fact, please share that. I think that anyone who's interested in the gaming industry would find this interview extremely interesting and informative. Okay, back to CBDCs. So again, nobody's coming to save you. You need to be able to go and pull yourself and your family to whatever lifeboat that needs to be. And now, again, whether that is cryptocurrency, which I think is going to be one of the best ways to do that going forward, or I've talked traditional stuff like gold, silver, other precious metals. And you hear me talk about Acre Gold all the time. Link in the description below. Basically, you can go ahead and dollar cost average into gold for like $50 a month. I mean, $50 a month. That's like, hello, no brainer, right? I mean, good Lord, that only makes sense. Link to that in the description below. Not looking to get off of that on that topic right now. So let's take a look at the next thing I have up here. Now, again, whoops, wrong button. Live stream, gotta love it. There are politicians, and again, good, bad, ugly with regard to the politicians that realize that CBDCs are the antithesis of what should be going on here in the United States. And right here, we'll take Congressman. Boy, I don't know, maybe I need more coffee. Hang on one second. I don't know. I'm just jibber-jawing. Jar, I need you here to save me from myself. Anyway, you got Congressman Ronnie Jackson right here, basically saying that CBDCs are a Trojan horse for the global elites to control people. Exactly. CBDCs are slavery. Bitcoin is freedom. And again, not necessarily Bitcoin maxi here or whatever the case may be with regard to that. But yeah, give me Bitcoin, 7 days a week over a CBDC. And the fact that a lot of the senators and congressmen are realizing the fact that, yeah, CBDCs probably not a good thing. Probably not a good thing. I'm glad for that. I'm glad for that. Again, make sure that you head back to the live stream that Crypto Jar and I did last Wednesday, where we talked a bit about that. Wait, trying to. Here we go. All right, but remember, I was saying, again, I'm in cryptocurrency, so cryptocurrency's cashless. It just is. But cryptocurrency at least provides you the opportunity to be able to use privacy coins. And if you're not sure what a privacy coin is, basically it is it's a coin that's specifically designed to keep your transactions private. So what you may know how much you sent, but who you sent it to, what you sent it for is obfuscated. Okay, otherwise blocked, so people can't easily see. Now with Bitcoin, it's to give you an example of a bit of difference. Bitcoin is pseudonymous, so basically it's private until someone knows what your wallet address is, or until you connect with a wallet address that is already known, or you use a centralized cryptocurrency exchange like Coinbase or Gemini, and you have to KYC in order to facilitate whatever transactions you need to do on those exchanges. So once that's known, these analysis companies like Chainalysis, for example, can easily track all the transactions you make in Bitcoin. Now, privacy coins are the opposite of that. Matter of fact, I've mentioned it many a times. The U.S. government has basically put it out there. They'll pay. I can't remember what it's called. I'm having a brain crap right now. But basically, they'll pay for anyone who hacks Monero. Monero is probably the largest and most popular privacy coin at the moment, and even most widely used. Heck, I mine Monero because I do believe there's going to be a need. Now, again, I get it. I don't see, privacy coins being the need for all transactions. However, I do see where there might be a need going in the future, as the way these governments are going, that maybe we need privacy coins. Not to get down that road. The point is, cryptocurrency, as we move into a cashless society, I believe is that way. And again, I understand gold, other precious metals, etc. So I understand. All right, let me bring this up here. Now, here we go. If you don't follow Wall Street Silver, you should. This guy is good. I really do appreciate the content he puts out on Twitter. So make sure you go ahead and follow him. Matter of fact, the link to this particular post right here is in the description of this live stream below. But here he's talking about, matter of fact, let me bring it up a full screen so you can see that a little bit better. That Australia is slowly shifting toward being cash free. More than $1 billion worth of notes have disappeared from circulation in the past 12 months. This is coming to a country near you sometime soon. It will be coming to a country near you sometime soon. Now, Australia, I'll tell you what, especially during the pandemic, they were one of the worst places to be, if you ask me, from everything that was shown. I mean, just authoritarian, like I would never have imagined. And it looks like the government is, 100% buy-in on this by 2030, you'll own nothing and be happy scenario that the WEF is putting out. I want to listen to this video real quick. It's actually from the media down in Australia, making it sound like it's a good thing, like the first steps toward a CBDC in Australia. I mean, oh my God, is all I got to say with regard to that. That's literally all I got to say with regard to that. Hang on one second. Trying to turn all this up so you can hear it here. And all right.
$1 billion worth of notes. Australia is slowly shifting towards being cash-free. More than $1 billion worth of notes have disappeared from circulation in the past 12 months. It follows the Commonwealth Bank's decision to start trialling cashless branches across Sydney. Economists say a cashless society will hurt criminals on the black market, but will make life more difficult for the elderly who rely on notes and coins. Australia is slowly shifting towards being cash. More than $1 billion worth of notes.
I love how they always portray it as, oh, we're fighting organized crime, and we're fighting money laundering, and we're fighting the good fight for you to keep you safe. That is such a crock of shit. Such a crock of shit. Look, if that was the case, then all of these lawsuits from the SEC against all these cryptocurrency exchanges, platforms, whatever, and the future ones to come, because Gary Gensler says they're still coming, baby, because he's an idiot. He's losing left and right. Again, not trying to get down that road. But if that was the case, all these lawsuits would end up helping all of us, protect all of us. That's bullshit. He let FTX run rampant. Hell, he was in... Okay, I got to watch what I say here. He was obviously in communication with representatives from FTX. Did he save anybody that had money in FTX? No, he did not. No, he did not. And what did he do? He's using that, or was at the time using that as the reason for, I got to clamp down on this industry. So when you listen to the mainstream media that we just listened to in Australia, when they're like, oh, cashless society is great, it's going to save us from the criminal element. The government is the criminal element. Okay, I'm getting very far off track here. My point is, with regard to this, obviously, we're going to move to a cashless society. Matter of fact, again, I wrote all about that move to a cashless society on my blog. Link in the description below. Make sure you head over there and check it out. Give it a read. Hopefully, it'll spawn new ideas, new thinking with regard to cryptocurrency and so on. So I really appreciate you heading over there. Please go ahead and check that out. But so I think we're moving that way. And again, cryptocurrency is part of that move, if you ask me. I'm not opposed to a cashless society. I think it's just the natural evolution of things. And again, cryptocurrency to me still provides, let me phrase this properly. Some cryptocurrencies, like privacy coins, still provide the option of that anonymity, the option of being able to transact without the government needing to know what you're doing. Kind of like, right now you go to the bank, you take your cash out, you walk and do whatever you're going to go do with it. They have no idea what you're doing with it, right? Unless you tell them for whatever reason. So once it leaves their ledger, the current banking system, I get it. None of their beeswax what the heck you're doing, which is why a lot of people, and I get it, criminal organizations, whatever, are trying to be able to, keep that going. And I think we're going to have a dual type of system for a while, regardless of what they're trying to do here with regard to before 2030. But I do believe that eventually this cash society is going to transition to cashless. The majority of people, and again, I put an entire breakdown by generation of who is using cash, who isn't using cash, and I think it'll surprise you. So go ahead and check that out. But I think eventually it's going to move in that direction. That being the case, doesn't it make sense for you to decide, you and I, to decide what system we want to be in? Do we actually want to be into a system with a CBDC that is controlled by them, programmed by them? In that system, they tell you what you can buy, what you can't buy, when you can buy it, when you got to use your money by. You name it. The possibilities are literally endless as to what they can program into those CBDCs and utilize that programming to manipulate people's actions. Holy 1984. Am I right? Tell me what you think. If you're still in the live stream, tell me what you think in the comments, please. In that live chat, jump on in there. If you're watching this on the replay, put it in the comments below, because I'm interested to see what you think. So again, my goal here is to help to educate that 49% that showed up in that poll. The 49% who either, I don't care, or they just don't understand. You need to realize that doing nothing is what's going to allow them to bring forward whatever it is that they want. You need to oppose this. And again, for those in the United States, congressmen, senators, let them know what you're thinking about this. I get it. You just heard me ramble about the corrupt government, etc. But we still have to utilize the means at our disposal, my humble opinion, in order to move the system forward and make it what we want it to be. That's it. That's what I got. I really appreciate everybody that chimed in today. Crypto Jar, thank you for chiming in the live chat. Much appreciated, my friend. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. For those, again, who are new here, remember, I am live every Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about whatever the latest thing is that I think needs to get out there in order to educate and bring awareness to. And then every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for Crypto on the Rocks. Now, I really would love to have all of you join me for Crypto on the Rocks on a Friday. We have a casual conversation. You bring whatever drink it is you want. I bring you on the live stream. I put the link in there. You come on the live stream and we chat crypto. Now, I had a gentleman, forgot what his name was, Jimmy Ronnie or something from, I think was his handle. He was from England, and he chimed in, and we ended up going off about politics a little bit versus crypto. But so what? It was great to have him on there and have somebody from outside of the United States, because a perspective from outside the U.S. is always good as well, and which is why, again, I appreciate Crypto Jar for joining in on the channel. But every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for Crypto on the Rocks, casual conversation, drink, a laugh here or there, because then if you stayed on after that go around with Ronnie there, Philip joined back in. For those of you who have watched Crypto on the Rocks, you know my buddy Philip, he loves to chime in. We sit there, we chat about a bunch of stuff, and we did talk crypto. We talked about a couple of videos that came out, and we talked about Mark Cuban, that live stream. Go check that out. And it's good fun. Couple of drinks, couple of laughs, good conversation. And honestly, sometimes that's the best way to learn about what you got to learn about, right? All right, that's it. I'm gonna wrap this up here at this point. I hopefully have got my point across. Again, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick that bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I go live, every time I put out a great video. Don't forget, this Thursday, 9:45, I'm premiering that interview with Jason on the P2E, Play to Earn Gaming. We will be live in the chat at that point. If you're interested in that and you should be if you have anything even remotely to do with gaming. Yeah, you want to check that out. So check that out. And then again, on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Crypto on the Rocks. Appreciate you being here. Glad you were here. And I'll see you